Bad news. There's clearly something up between Kell Brook and mid chocolate brownie realistically. Ahead of his Terence Crawford fight and Eddie Hearn, they don't seem to be on the same page. They're not working together, and Eddie Hearn has recently responded. This can't be good, but we're going to talk about it.
You talk about loyalty. When I talk about loyalty, I talk about sitting in a hospital with him when he spunked the weight and didn't even train for Carson Jones, sitting in that hospital with him till 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. Talking about flying out to Fuerteventura at 4 o'clock in the morning to go and be with him and deal with him in a hospital and the police there. I've been up to his house dozens of times, sat in his kitchen with him and his dad, and tried to get his career back on track. So don't talk to me about loyalty. And what your loyalty is, after I had to give you fights against Jojo Dan, Kevin Bizier, Rabchenko, Zarafa, DeLuca, fights that I've done my conkers on over the years. You made the decision to turn your back on me, right? I don't have a problem with that. Once you do that, you're gone. I don't have to fight for you anymore, right? Because if you're with me and you put your trust and your faith in me, I will give you every ounce of my soul. Once you make the decision to walk away from me, don't come back when things ain't working out. And that's what they did. They chose to have me not involved in this fight. And when they couldn't sell it to a UK partner, they come to me. Oh, I really wanted it on Sky for the fans. Don't talk bollocks. You want...
What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to my channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang, notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the Super Chats, channel donations, the Venmo donations, the Cash App, and the Patreon family. We working. Now, before I get started, ESPN Plus. Use my link in the description. Sign up for ESPN Plus. They got a ton of originals, exclusives, BTS. So they have UFC, boxing. You can get the UFC pay-per-views, archive fights, tons of good content available to you. ESPN Plus. Get it as a standalone app, or you can bundle it. ESPN Plus, Hulu, and Disney Plus. That's 3 apps for one low price of $12.99 or a month, and it does help the channel continue to grow and thrive. Stay independent, stay creative, and stay working. Now, you guys heard the beginning. Eddie Hearn, he's talking about what sounds like a frayed relationship between Kell Brook. So, just in case you live under a rock, Kell Brook is fighting Errol Spence next. The fight is coming up. It hasn't really been promoted much. Some people think Kell Brook is merely taking this as, you know, getting a couple mil and as a cash out fight. Crawford is highly touted and highly rated as a pound for pound type of fighter. He's definitely skilled. You look at Kell Brook's recent fights, Mark DeLuca, Michael Zarafa, he didn't look good in that fight. These are all 150 plus. Rabchenko, and then he hasn't fought a really good name since 2017, which is ironically the last time he fought at this weight. So Kell Brook does look to be in shape, but he hasn't competed at welterweight against anybody remotely as good as Terence Crawford since Errol Spence, and that was 2017. So people have a lot of questions in this fight. Can Kell Brook make weight and be effective and be comfortable and be the fight and the fighter that he was, you know, in his heyday? The early rounds versus Errol Spence, you know, in the Golovkin fight. This is, you got to look at boxing. And I know Kell Brook, he obviously doesn't want people doubting his skills or doubting him, but you can't really be mad at them because your last 2 big names you lost to. You have not fought anyone since 2016-17, where you took a pair of back-to-back losses to then undefeated Golovkin and then an undefeated Errol Spence. So you haven't fought nobody. Like it's similar. Kell Brook's career has been similar to after he beat Sean Porter, where in 2014 you fought a great name and a champion, crossed the pond, got mad respect for beating Sean Porter. A fun fact, Ego fun fact, I picked Kell Brook to beat Sean Porter at that time in 2014. You know, that was early in my channel days, and people said I was tripping and didn't know boxing, and I was right. But look at who he fought after Sean Porter. Casey and JoJo Dan, you know, Frankie Gavin. So this is 2015, his 2016 Kevin Bezier. So around this time, after 3 rematch room level domestic fights that nobody wanted to see, people were criticizing Kell Brook for his level of opposition as a champion. Out of nowhere, when he's a welterweight champion, he jumps up to fight a 35-0 undefeated heavy-handed Golovkin who had knocked out 21 opponents in a row. So that was just a bad move and a bad read from him and Eddie Hearn. You know, you really stood more to kind of lose the way it played out than you would have gained. I mean, you would have gained a good amount for beating Golovkin, but Golovkin hadn't fought Canelo and Jacobs yet at that point. So his resume wasn't even that good. So it was just really a risky fight for no reason. Then after, you were forced to fight the guy that you said was overrated by Americans, and he stopped you too, and they both shattered your eyes. You know, so Kell Brook can't be mad. His career has been a good fight or two, and then a year or two of unknowns, and now you're doing the same thing. You fought Porter, and then it was JoJo Dans and Casey and JoJo and, you know, all these people. And then since you fought Golovkin and Spence, who were quality guys, you fought Rabchenko, Zarafa, and DeLuca, and now you're jumping all the way to the top of the welterweight totem pole, 1A, 1B, Terence Crawford. People think Errol Spence and Terence Crawford are the 1A and 1B of the division. You know what I mean? So all the doubt, this is because of how your career has played out and the injuries and talking about retirement. But back to the title of this video. I got a couple more quotes. Make sure you guys smash the like button. I drop daily content. Eddie Hearn did an interview, link in the description, where he was angry because Kell Brook, basically him and his father, from what I gather, made this fight with Terence Crawford all on their own without Eddie Hearn and without rematch room. And then they try to get distribution from Sky Sports, but Sky Sports already has a fight around that same time with Dillian White on pay-per-view that they're pushing. So Sky Sports passed up on it, you know, and maybe Eddie Hearn hated because Kell Brook did his own thing. I don't know. But nonetheless, now the fight is not going to be on Sky Sports. It's not picked up by BT Sports, and it got picked up by Premier something. You know, I don't even know, some UK broadcaster, but not the typical Sky Sports that has covered Kell Brook's career. This is what Eddie Hearn says, because Kell Brook, you know, gave him an earful and said he wasn't loyal and, you know, wasn't doing things advantageous for his career or whatever he said. And Eddie Hearn has responded to that. Eddie Hearn did an interview. He says, "I was quite disappointed and angry. I want to stay classy, so I won't say too much about Brook's career, but I will say 99% of what he said was bollocks." Let's start with the Crawford fight and Sky situation. Kell Brook was talking to Top Rank. He had meetings with Top Rank about that fight against Crawford and probably other fights as well, which didn't go down very well with me. I'm an all or nothing kind of guy. They came back, couldn't get the Crawford fight, so they asked me to do the fight. He fought Mark DeLuca, and then after the DeLuca fight, they carried on conversations with Top Rank. I was never involved in one conversation with Top Rank regarding this Crawford fight. No consultation, no opinions from me, and no part of the negotiation whatsoever. They chose to do this all themselves. Now, because they didn't want to, he said, I don't know if it was because they didn't want to pay me or because they wanted to go their separate way. Once you turn your back on me, don't ever turn around and start walking back towards me. So Eddie Hearn said, I'm all or nothing. You know, you did this much by yourself without me. You know, you and Top Rank, you got it all figured out. So keep it pushing, you know. And I can respect that from Eddie Hearn, you know, because I'm like that too. Like, you doing your own thing, cool. You the man, you know, do your own thing then. You don't need me. Listen, this harms the fight. All this bickering. Kell Brook, I did a video about it yesterday. Make sure you guys, I'm the hottest. You know, I keep talking about the hottest issues in this sport scene. I did a video about this yesterday. Kell Brook said he found his trainer on Instagram. This is worrisome. Crawford is no joke. Crawford is a great fight. I've said the same thing. Brook at his best can definitely trouble Crawford. You know, some people question Crawford's chin. Can he take a punch? And we don't really know. This will probably be the best welterweight name and the most accomplished welterweight and skillful welterweight that Crawford has fought. The only downside is it's a real shot in the dark, not from a skill perspective, but a quality of what version of Kell Brook. Like, does Kell Brook at this point of his career have it in him to dig down deep where you're losing, the fight, and then you have to turn it around? We don't know. Will his eyes hold up against a big puncher and accurate guy like Terence Crawford? It's just like when Crawford fought against Amir Khan, in his prime, that probably would have been a better fight, but you seen how the fight played out. It just wasn't good. So I don't know. The more time passes, the more I'm being disenchanted by this fight, because it just seems like it's marred with, it's going to be some BS. Again, if Brook is sharp and he's really focused and he's really trying to win, he could give Crawford an issue. I definitely believe that. But it's hard to put your money with Brook against a guy like Crawford, especially when Crawford, everything in his situation has remained the same to our knowledge. He has the same trainer. He's in the same gym. He's not having any beefs with ESPN or Top Rank or promoter issues. Meanwhile, he didn't have no 2 eyeball injuries, sockets, eye socket injuries. Socket to me. Ooh. Socket to me. Ooh. He got the socket to me, eye sockets. There's just a lot going on. Crawford don't have that. Crawford's in shape. He's not a guy who moved up and fought a foolish Golovkin fight and got battered and then came back down and been fighting at 150. Crawford's been at welterweight. He's been consistent with his performances. Kell Brook has everything going against him. Hasn't had to make welterweight, the actual welterweight, since 2017. His last 2 big names he fought, he lost to Golovkin. Hey, no guys, hey, Max is punches. It's nothing. It's tick of punches. Losing the Errol Spence, man down, taking the knee, the eye socket injuries, the weight. You and your dad went on your own, and Eddie Hearn ain't even there. Sky Sports ain't picked. You know what I'm saying? It's like everything about this fight is it sounds kind of negative. I'm gonna watch it for sure. It's on regular ESPN. I got ESPN, so of course I'm gonna watch it. And I also big supporter of both guys' careers, so I'm gonna watch it. But I really don't know what to expect, because it does look like a cash out fight. It really does. Like I said, I keep saying the same thing. He looks in good shape. He looks to be in good shape. That's a great. Oh, I thought that was Blade. Frost. I didn't know who that was. I thought that was Blade. I seen the haircut. I don't know what to expect from Brook, man. That's my whole point. I think he's a quality guy in his heyday, but he got a lot of stuff going on. And what I've learned in boxing is when boxing is a psychological sport. So when you see somebody with all these issues and, you and your promoter separated and beefing and you switching trainers last minute, Sky Sports ain't picking up your fight, the main broadcasters, it's just like, I don't really know what to expect. The eye socket, you ain't fought nobody in a while. It's hard for me against a guy like Crawford. If he was fighting somebody lesser, than Crawford, let's say if he was fighting a Jose Cito Lopez, that would be a good fight. Who knows? Jesse Vargas, something like that. You fighting Crawford, dog. So it's hard to really gauge this fight because everything is amounting against Kell Brook in this fight. You know what I'm saying? And what I've seen more often than not, when it looks like the weight of the world is against a fighter, then oftentimes that's how it plays out. Occasionally you get a Mike Tyson and a Buster Douglas, but Kell Brook is going to have to prove a lot of things and a lot of people wrong here. But there are some variables that give him hope because he is a puncher. Some people do question the chin of Terence Crawford, stuff like that. And I will say this, is Crawford sometimes fights the wrong fight himself where he's so competitive. He's looking to get back, if he gets hurt and stuff like that, like with Gamboa. And against a guy who's skillful and powerful like Kell Brook, if he's sharp, then it could be very interesting. It could be very interesting. But there's a lot of soap opera stuff, The Young and the Restless with Kell Brook's recent career. you know, inactivity, dry spells. Him and Eddie Hearn ain't working together. He found his trainer on Instagram. He ain't working with a longtime Dominic Ingle. It does look like a cash out fight. You know, shout out to Crawford who said that. I said that. It definitely looks like that, because it looks like you out here, you know, doing this by yourself, and you're not working with two of the main people that have been a staple in your career, Dominic Ingle and Eddie Hearn and Sky Sports. So you just kind of doing your own thing, collecting a bag. And I don't doubt that Kell Brook is going to try his hardest, but what I'm saying is, does he have it within him to dig down deep? And when you're hardest, you've tasted defeat. Crawford hasn't. So you've tasted defeat. If things start looking shaky and Crawford's on your head, pause, he on your ass, then let me double pause that. I'm gonna pause that twice. Do you have it within you to ignite that flame and that fire? Because that's what this fight could, you know, turn out to force you to do, because of Crawford and how good he is. So we'll see how it plays out. But him and Eddie Hearn don't look to be working together. Eddie Hearn has definitely messed up Kell Brook's career, and Kell Brook too, because he went along with it. Fighting Golovkin was stupid. I literally, I'm not even gonna pull it up. You guys do the homework and pull it up. I did a 7 reasons video talking about daring to be great and why Kell Brook and Amir Khan shouldn't move up to fight Canelo and couldn't fight Triple G. And the irony of that whole situation is this: Canelo and Triple G, people wanted them to fight, those two. And Amir Khan and Kell Brook, people wanted them to fight. So we never got Canelo and Triple G in 2016. We later got it, but I'm saying the year people wanted them to fight, we didn't get it. And then Kell Brook moves up in weight, 2 weight classes to fight Triple G, gets his eye shattered, stoppage lost, corner towel throw in, whatever. Amir Khan gets obliterated by Canelo. And the funny thing is, they should have played Freaky Friday musical chairs. Kell Brook should have been fighting Amir Khan. Eesh. And Canelo, I was born ready, should have been fighting Triple G that year. But instead, we got these fluff filler fights that nobody needed and nobody asked for with predictable results. You see what I'm saying? And Kell Brook's career has been in harm's way ever since. And then he had to fight Errol Spence, which he should have been fighting instead of Golovkin. You know, Kell Brook was supposed to fight. He posted this picture of Mir. That's messed up. Kell Brook was supposed to fight Jesse Vargas for a title before Jesse Vargas lost to Pacquiao, right? And he ended up fighting Golovkin. That was just stupid. There was no real reason for that. Golovkin was supposed to fight Chris Eubank at the time. It fell through for whatever reason. So him and Eddie Hearn felt, oh yeah, we'll fight our welterweight with this middleweight who hits hard. Stupid. You know, so dumb from Eddie Hearn and Kell Brook. It made no sense. The weight classes exist for a reason, and this is why you don't do that. Let me know what you guys think, how I did in this video. Use my links in the description. We working, as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego, signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxingego, the future of boxing.